Hello and welcome to another video. Today it's gonna be a video I waited so long to reveal that video. It's now 8 o'clock in the morning. It's the 12th of January. The new GR Yaris was just released, and to be quite honest, I knew about mostly everything since August, and when I had a very interesting phone call from somebody.
Who's that Pokemon?
Deep inside Toyota, and mostly everything that he told me is true. So it came true. So very good informed. So let's talk about a few things which are already covered on some other videos and also some videos from Toyota or the press releases. So let's talk about the differences between the version 1 and version 2. I don't know what it's gonna be called. Let's just call it version 1, version 2. That's also one of the next videos. So the most obvious issues or the most obvious changes are the exterior. And let's just say something about Toyota which they make different from any other car manufacturer, because what they did was they took a look at what do people change on the car. Basically everything or most of the parts I had changed on, or we had changed on RGR, on the most of the clients' cars, are now changed by Toyota. So thanks for that. But they did listen to their customers, which a lot of car manufacturers doesn't do anymore. And Toyota listened, and they addressed the biggest issues which everyone or nearly everyone was complaining, and they changed that straight out of the box. So let's start with the exterior. At the exterior you can see the front bumper is a little bit different. So the front bumper is a little bit different. Most of it is aesthetic, but some is to address the cooling issues. First of all, you get an oil cooler for the engine, and you get an oil cooler for the 8-speed automatic gearbox. That's quite good. And they also changed some of the mesh at the front, but I think that's purely aesthetic, or maybe it's a little bit more rigid. It will handle impact better. So because it's from metal and not plastic, the grille at the front anymore, but the holes in the grille are still pretty large, so maybe you want to cover that up. And the front bumper does have some vents for the coolers. So one of the issues with having coolers in the front bumper is you need to vent the hot air somewhere. And if you have them at the side, as Toyota did, and also as the Porsche GT3 RS has, or every Porsche, they have it also in the front bumper, and they vent the hot air through the coolers into the wheel arches, which isn't good, especially at higher speeds and especially at higher temps. You get a lot of hot air into the wheel arch, which lifts the car up. That's why the Porsche GT3 RS has the vents behind the wheel, and that reduces lift at the front, and you get a lot of hot air to the brakes, which isn't obviously a very good idea. So they vent it in front of the wheels and get the hot air out there. That's pretty good. The second thing you notice is they made at the rear bumper in the middle, they have a small area which they vent also, so hot air from the exhaust can get out. It doesn't act like a parachute. The rear bumper at the stock car is like a parachute, which you're dragging behind, so that helps also vent the rear bumper, and which will make it more aerodynamic. Also very good. That's the second issue they handled. Then obviously the rear taillights are new with the single brake thing, and they moved the brake from the rear wing down to the boot lid, where the new rear tail lights are. I don't know if that's because some people changed the rear wing or because it's just purely aesthetic. I don't know, but it looks good in my opinion. I like how they made the rear look. It looks better in my opinion, at least at what I saw on pictures. than the first generation. Now, let's hop into the interior, which there's a lot of obvious changes, like it's a full digital screen, full digital cockpit with, apparently you get also very good oil pressure, oil temps and everything. You can see that very well on one picture on the dash on the left hand side. It's everything very nicely done, and so you can see that now really, and you don't have to guess like in the first generation. That's what they did in the interior. I don't know if they have new speakers or whatnot. I don't care about these, so you'll have to look another test for that. But they also changed the handbrake. And if they really bring the car like that with basically a fly-off style handbrake, that's gonna be pretty cool. I don't know if the automatic car will get this, because the only picture I found with the handbrake like a fly-off, it's on a manual car. So we'll see if it's an option for the automatic as well. And the seats are lower, 25 millimeters, which is pretty good. It's not race car like, but it's much better than in the version 1. I don't know if they changed the seats. I couldn't find any pictures where you can see the seats very good. So I don't know if they changed that, but they talk about if you're wearing a 4-point harness, it's better to sit lower. So maybe they changed something at the seats as well. So you can actually now have 4-point harness. We're gonna see. They also moved the rear mirror a little bit further up. So you get a lot more room between the dash and they also lowered the dash. So they basically addressed every issue we had on the first version, which I just realized maybe put me out of business. We'll see. But I think there's still a lot of to improve on the car. But they changed that as well, so that's pretty good. Going to where it actually matters, the Technic. So technologically, they changed, obviously the most obvious thing is to a 8-speed automatic. They also changed pistons, because we saw a lot of, or not a lot of, but we saw a few cars with engine damage, and some pistons got damaged as well. So that's not ideal, and they addressed that and made much stronger pistons. Yeah, so they changed that, and they also increased boost, so you get roughly 20 horsepower more, and it's I think 19, from 261 to 280, and 30 newton meters more, which is also pretty nice. That won't change that much, but it's good to have more power. And especially to know that they also changed the pistons. Other than that, the car's basically the same. With the automatic, you get a few options as well. As you can see in one picture, there's the drive button, where you can change the 4-wheel drive. And there's another button to change the shift strategy, I would say, of the automatic. And in one video, they also say you can adjust shift strategy, you can adjust AC with that, so you can basically manufacture your own individual program, most likely, which will be cool. That won't change too much, but that's cool. Then, now, if you're here because of the title, because I saw something most didn't, I knew it. So that's why I saw it, and they also hit it very well in the technical description. If you look very closely, you can see they still have at the front McPherson, like they had, and at the rear it says double wishbone. If they really did that, that was the information I got in August. They never talk about that in any, or I haven't seen anybody talk about that. But if they changed that to double wishbone, the rears, they most likely changed the whole rear axle, because new dampers, new springs and everything. So that would be a major change to the rear axle. We'll see how that holds up, or is that a printing error? I don't think it is. So with the double wishbone, maybe they're a completely new version or completely new suspension. The double wishbone, maybe it's a completely new construction, maybe not. Maybe they just say this one's also double wishbone. I don't know. I think we're gonna see, but would be a huge improvement for the rear axle, but I don't know. We're gonna see when the car's here. And they also have now wider wheels. It's 8.5 inch instead of 8. So I don't know if they made the arches wider, because tire size is exactly the same, 225/40, and so they didn't increase that, but they increased the size of the wheels to 8.5 from 8. So I don't know if they changed anything else. We'll see as soon as I get my hands on one. You will see it up on that lift and an in detailed technical inspection. And if you have any questions, just let me know in the comments. Actually, I'm not quite sure if I should buy one. I would really like to buy one, but I'm a little bit afraid it's too close to this one. So, but it would be a street one. I'm actually waiting until I see the price, but we'll see. Most likely I need one.